I used to know a lot about parenting. So much that one of my first jobs was to mentor moms. The only problem was I was 22, I had no kids of my own, and I had no idea what I was talking about. If any of those moms are here today, I apologize. Because a few years later, I had kids of my own, 4 of them. They humbled me. There's so many moments as a mom when I thought, wow, I did not see that coming. We went to the park for a hike, and my 7-year-old hops out of the car with no shoes, just 1 sock and 1 flip-flop. What? Or the time when I was helping my 3-year-old with a huge floor puzzle of the United States. He stuck his finger in his nose, pulled it out. Hey, look, Mom, Arkansas. Here's another thing I didn't see coming. I was exhausted. I knew I would have to do everything for them in the beginning, but I started to wonder when this was going to end. Going to work was easier. There, I didn't have to be nice, beg, or bribe people into doing what they needed to do. At work, I could just tell them. At home, I had to tell the kids 20 times to do something, and then I still ended up doing it myself. Can anyone relate? I love my kids, but I was starting to worry about their future. How was I going to get them to college when I couldn't even get them out the door with 2 shoes on? And so I searched for answers. What I found turned into a parenting revolution. Eventually, my husband and I became parent coaches because we realized this news was too good not to share. In 2015, we did a survey of 250 families from all 50 states, and we asked, what 5 words do you want to describe your child at age 30? The answers we heard repeatedly: happy, kind, independent, responsible, disciplined. Yes. But the question we have is, what do we do now as parents to get here? For the last 30 years, we've been told as parents that we must instill high self-esteem. Did you ever wonder where this idea came from? In the 1980s, psychologists noticed that drug addicts had low self-esteem. And so they concluded high self-esteem would be the antidote to crime, teenage pregnancy, and drug abuse. So government officials, school leaders, and parents jumped on the bandwagon, and the self-esteem movement was born. We joke about the idea that everybody gets a trophy, but it is a reality. Promoting high self-esteem is embedded in our cultural psyche. Psychologists followed students and kids for up to 30 years because we fully expected to see amazing results from promoting high self-esteem. It didn't happen. In 2003, after decades of research on self-esteem, Dr. Roy Baumeister and his colleagues at the University of Florida came to these conclusions. Promoting high self-esteem does not prevent children from smoking, drinking, taking drugs, or engaging in early sex. Our findings do not support continued widespread efforts to boost self-esteem. Promoting self-esteem might just as easily promote narcissism. Additionally, Dr. Baumeister and his colleagues found that certain groups of people test extremely high in self-esteem. Bullies, people with road rage, child abusers, wife beaters, rapists. Self-esteem is not the answer. But all those studies revealed something unexpected. There actually is a childhood trait that predicts positive outcomes in life, but the trait is self-control. Children with high self-control go on to become adults who are less likely to have drug and alcohol problems, to be a single parent, to commit a crime, or to struggle financially. They go on to become adults who are more likely to be in good health, to earn more and save more money, to volunteer and give to charity, and to be satisfied with their lives. This is good news. Researchers concluded childhood self-control strongly predicts adult success in people of high or low intelligence, in rich or poor. But there's even better news. Parents, we don't get to pick our child's height, their eye color, their IQ, but we can help them to develop greater self-control. And there are surprisingly simple ways that we can do this. It begins with a paradigm shift. For a long time, people thought the Earth was the center of the universe and the sun revolved around it. Then Nicholas Copernicus came along and said, nope, we're wrong. The Earth actually revolves around the sun. When we focus on self-esteem, the children are the center of our universe, and we completely revolve around them and their feelings. We are focused on keeping them happy above all else. When we focus on self-control, we teach them they are part of the family, but they're not the center. We teach them to think about others, that sometimes life is hard, and that we have to do the right thing no matter how we feel, even if we don't always get a trophy. Let me ask you this. When your alarm goes off in the morning, how many of you jump out of bed because you are thrilled to go to work today? Yes, there are a few hands. Those are the people sitting next to their boss. We know it. Those of us who are being honest know that even when we like our job, we don't always feel like going, but of course we do. This is I will self-control. We fulfill our responsibilities no matter how we feel about it. One way children practice I will self-control is when we expect them to be responsible and we give them real responsibilities. In the War of 1812, the US Navy had 12-year-olds commanding ships. Today, we're still waking them up, packing their lunch, and cleaning their rooms for them. Think about the difference between volunteering to help with something versus being in charge of it. We treat tasks differently when we know it rests on our shoulders. I used to have my children help with the laundry. Let me tell you, they were not worried about it. They knew if they didn't do it, I would. But now my children are in charge of the laundry. If they don't do it, we all have to wear dirty, stinky clothes. Dr. Marty Rossman at the University of Minnesota found that children who have chores by the age of 4 were more successful as adults than those who began chores as teenagers. Knowing that they are part of the team and that work comes before play helps children grow in the I will self-control. Adults, we also exercise I won't self-control when we say no to something we want, like that second piece of cake, because we know it might lead to can't fit into my jeans consequences. But we often hesitate to let our children suffer consequences of their actions because we're afraid of harming their self-esteem. But consider this. If you knew the fine for speeding was $10, would you speed? Probably. What if you knew the fine was $10,000? Would you think twice? We cannot control the choices our children make now or in the future, but we can teach them that bad choices lead to bad outcomes. When my children do something obnoxious or just fail to complete a task, it's actually really tempting to ignore it, to make an excuse, or maybe just do it for them. But instead, I've started asking myself, what will the boss say? What if my son is working at NASA? The boss asks for the safety report, and he says, I forgot to do that. But hey, look, Jupiter. What's cute at 3 is not cute at age 23. Someday our children will have to exercise self-control, or there will be $10,000 consequences, and we need to help them practice now. The bottom line is self-control is cumulative. When we grow in one area, it spreads into other areas, and every little bit helps. So for the sake of our children's future, we need to start focusing on self-control today.